Hey, welcome back to the Big Red Zone. We are very excited for today's show. Remember, new episodes come out every Wednesday. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure you hit the like button on this video as well as other videos. Subscribe also to iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Big Red Zone and tell a friend. Help us keep growing the show. Tonight, we got WrestleMania. We'll wrap up our bracket madness. We'll talk Celtics, Red Sox, and breaking news from New England. We'll get into that to start the show. All that and more on this week's episode of the Big Red Zone. Welcome to the podcast. This is the Big Red Zone. I'm your host, Big Red. As always, I am joined by Danny Football.
What's going on, boo? What's going on?
What's going on, man? It's good to see you. Producer John is not with us tonight, but he is here in spirit. Lot to unpack tonight, Danny Football. A lot of news, especially coming out of today, last couple of days. But we'll start with the breaking news in New England. Patriots legend Julian Edelman was released today following a failed physical, reports from Shefty. So, and a lot of people think this is it. He's going to retire. It is the end of his career in New England, so we can talk about that. But, I mean, general thoughts are...
Have you not seen the video yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, pull up the video. I'll fill the air while you pull up it. He put out a whole retirement video.
He already did. I was in class. I was getting updates throughout the...
So I'll kind of fill it in. So Julian Edelman, like you said, retiring after 11 years. The successor to Wes Welker. I don't know if anyone's seen that video either, but it's the game where Wes goes down. They put in Edelman. He brings back the punt. And kind of just indicative of Edelman's career. Bill talks to Welker on the sideline about how this could be a Willie Pep, Lou Gehrig situation where the new guy takes over and just plays forever, and that's what happened. Edelman stepped in, he took over for Wes, and he was nails ever since, man. And like he says in the video, he was going to go until the wheels fell off, and the wheels fell off. And, big catch in the Atlanta Super Bowl, played cornerback in the second Giants Super Bowl. This dude's been here through thick and thin, and, Patriot for life, man. And I'm going to miss him.
I could have watched the whole thing, but man, that is sad. Like you said, I that video, that clip, like of mic'd up, is one of my favorite videos of when Belichick walks over to Welker saying, this guy's
Willie Pep.
Yeah,
ever heard of Willie Pep? No, yeah. Who's that? He's the guy that played first base before Lou Gehrig. And then Lou Gehrig went on to play like 2,000 games in a row.
Yeah. And Welker had that look on his face like he was like messing with him. But
he knew.
But, seventh round pick, draft pick,
quarterback. Not even a receiver.
Comes in and fills like whatever role the Patriots needed. Goes on to become, I think, arguably, and I heard our friend of the show, Mr. Haben, said this today on his Instagram, and I completely agree. I think he is the greatest Patriots receiver to ever play. I think he is, as much as Randy Moss was unbelievable.
He was only here for so long.
He only played 3 seasons, and only one was the 50 touch, Tom Brady 50 touchdown undefeated season. Welker, like you said, was unbelievable. And to be quite honest, was probably the greatest Patriots receiver until Julian Edelman. But the thing that sets Julian Edelman apart from everyone else is he did it for over 10 years. He battled, he grinded, and the most important thing, he was so clutch in major playoff moments. He, when you needed to make a play, it's kind of like Gronk. When you needed to make a play, you trusted to throw the ball to Edelman. Like, how many big moments in the Super Bowls or major playoff moments did we look Jules' way? Like, I think that sets him apart, and he did it for so many games. I've been on record in the show to say he's a Hall of Fame. He's definitely a Patriots Hall of Famer.
Oh,
without
1,000%. You can't not put him in the Pats Hall of Fame.
First ballot. Like, it's not the first time he's eligible, he's going in. But I argue he's a Hall of Famer. Like, I think you can make the argument based on his playoff performance and his playoff track record. He has to be a Hall of Famer. And
you can make a case for it. I'm not going to say he definitively is.
No, I wouldn't say
Pat's Hall of Fame 1,000%.
Like you can obviously say like Gronk is without a doubt a Hall of Famer. Like he I think you can say.
Oh yeah, I mean the best of his generation.
Yeah. I think the argument can be made for Julian Edelman. I make the argument. I'm in favor of him going in. He may not make it. He may make it. He may not. But I will die on that hill for him. He's unbelievable. One of the most clutch performers in the playoff, wide receivers in the playoffs. And tip your cap, man. It's sad to see him go. But like I said, you kind of saw this coming. Kind of reminds me a lot of Pedroia. Like you kind of
dude, one of the same. I'll give you a quick recap of kind of his journey to, even if he isn't a Hall of Famer, to even be in the discussion. No scholarships out of high school. Played quarterback at Kent State. Didn't get a combine invite. Drafted in the 7th round. Plays 11 years, 620 catches, over 6,800 yards, 3 Super Bowls, and a Super Bowl MVP. Man, I mean that's a hell of a story.
And like looking even further, like look at the his playoff numbers. I think he's second all time in playoff receiving yards, only behind Jerry Rice. Like that's unbelievable. And just like I said, big moments, like big playoff moments. Like you can make it is such a big highlight reel of Julian Edelman plays. You know, obviously the Falcons Super Bowl. I hope no one forgot already, but the Julian Edelman pass to Danny Amendola in the Ravens game that like really got us going, brought all the momentum back on our side. When we were like, it wasn't looking good for the Patriots when we made that play.
Second all time in playoff receptions.
Playoff receptions. That's what I was thinking of. Playoff receptions. So good stat catch there, Diddy Football. But yeah, it's just like it's unbelievable. Part of that is like, you know, he plays in so many games. Like he was on the Patriots and they played in so many games, but he's got to make the plays. Like in that last Super Bowl that we won, it was Gronk and Edelman. That's all, and James White. But Gronk and Edelman were the main 2 receivers that Brady threw to. Like that's all he really trusted. And you know, it's sad to see him go, but like I said, you kind of saw it coming. I thought he had another year in him, but or 2.
I'd like to. I said it to you before the show started. I wanted him to be able to go out on his terms, man. But like he said, it was best for him and his family. I mean, if it's the difference between living a good life after football, it's the right choice every time.
Right. And obviously he's been really banged up. He's had a lot, especially if you look at the last like 6 years, like he's had ACL injuries, hip injuries, head injuries. You know, he's been, like I said, with Pedroia, he reminds me of Pedroia. He's such a small guy, small in stature, I guess, height wise. But he plays like he's 10 feet tall. So like that caused some wear and tear on the body. And you're right. Like the point, you're never going to play football forever. So the point is like, you want to be healthy as long as you can after football. So, you know, I had a family member that played way back in the day for BC football. It is, you know, got hurt really bad and it really messed him up after like for the rest of his life. So, looking out for himself, you know, I think it's a great idea. It's what's best for him. So, and all we can do is respect the time. And I'm happy he retired a Patriot. Like
tip the cap to you, Jules. Tip the cap.
Yeah, he retired in the blue, and I appreciate him. You know, so
more than we could say for 2 other people. But.
Yeah, more than we can say. I know he played his whole entire career in New England.
Drafted and retired, man.
Do you think? I mean, Brady, you shouldn't. Like, if you're a Patriots fan, you shouldn't have any remorse towards
No,
Brady,
I just think I'm just trying to make a joke.
But I'm glad you brought that up because, like, do you think Patriots fans will hold Julian Edelman
in higher regards?
Higher regards?
Probably
not Brady. Not Brady. Brady's in another category. To Gronk.
I think people love Gronk just because he's Gronk and he's a big personality, but there is something to be said about retiring and coming back and then to join another team.
Yeah, I mean, I have no ill will towards Gronk, but I think Julian Edelman doing this and sticking through like the terrible year that we had last year and not jumping ship, whether he could have or not, like maybe they couldn't get like,
could have just sat out, could have opted out if you really wanted to.
So he like battled. He tried to battle. He had a good start. Like he had a couple great games at the beginning of the year.
Literally put it all on the line, man.
He had a career high in one of the games last year. So I don't know. I think that's definitely an argument can be made. And a lot of Patriots fans are probably going to be talking about this tomorrow and the coming week. Jules is going to be looked at a little more favorable than, I wouldn't say Brady, because Brady's in an own category of his own.
Yeah, no, Brady's a whole other animal.
But Gronk, I have a feeling that some people are, especially like you said, Gronk retired and then came back just to play with the Bucks. Like, I don't know. I'm all for doing what's best for you, but I think people will look at that a little differently. I don't think anyone's going to have any ill will towards Gronk, but I think they'll hold Julian Edelman a little bit higher as Patriots fans. Real quick, before we move on, what's your favorite Julian Edelman moment?
Favorite Julian Edelman moment? It's hard not to say the Amendola pass. I want to say lining up at corner in the Super Bowl, man. I mean, you want to talk about a utility guy willing to literally play defense, man. I mean, what more can we say? The dude was literally willing to play an entirely different position just for the good of the team, and that's something that sticks out for me. Yeah,
but so I would say, like, obviously, like you have to like think about the Falcons' Super Bowl catch, but I think whenever I think of Jules, I think of that pass to Amendola. Like that was such like a clutch time move, such a big time play. And the other thing is I think about him and Danny with the skateboarding video. Remember that video of them skateboarding around Boston?
I did like a series.
There was like a funny series of them just skateboarding around Boston. Go check it out. That was prime time Patriots. Like,
I'll look that up.
But salute to Jules. We'll miss you. And I mean, now that adds another hole in the wide receiving core. Maybe that's why. Maybe you knew something about going out and getting. Bill knew something going out and getting those extra guys. You know what I mean? Because I question why he would get. Aguilar, because like I was like, man, like you have Jules, Harry. I'm trying to think of that. Bourne, like there's a very Myers is a very clumped up, very busy wide receiver core, but now maybe without Jules, you slide Bourne to the slot or something, or Myers to the slot, and that opens up a couple extra spots. Like maybe he knew something then, but whatever the case, salute to Jules. And I'm sure he'll stick around New England for different things, different events and stuff.
Can do whatever he wants at this point, man.
You ever see after they won the Super Bowl against the Falcons, he went on Jimmy Fallon, and Jimmy Fallon said he should open up, when he retires, open up a chain of seafood restaurants and call it Edelman's Catch.
Oh my God.
I mean, he would make a ton of money. Jules, that's an idea.
Not a big fish food guy, but I'd do it.
Oh, I love seafood. Seafood's very good. Moving on. Real quick to a main event this last weekend. Danny Football and producer John, I know he has faith in Danny Football to cover this, but WrestleMania happened this last Saturday, Sunday. Danny Football, let's hear it. What's your recap of this past weekend's events?
So to update the people on our little predictions from last week, Call me Danny Wrestling, man. I wiped the floor with you
forget
and
Danny
John,
football.
man.
Forget Danny football.
Wiped the absolute floor. I went 10 for 12. John went 6 for 12, and you went 5 of 12. It was a bloodbath, man. But overall, I mean, I watched both nights. Night one was really good. That being said, it was definitely an emotional night because it was the first time they've had fans in over a year. So I feel like there was more anticipation for night one than there was for Sunday, just because, people in the stands, wrestlers were definitely more juiced seeing people there. So night one was banging, man. There was so many good matches night one. Night two got off to a slow start. I wasn't a huge fan of how they started night two, but they picked it up towards the end. Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, and Edge put on an absolute classic in it for triple threat.
Who won that one?
Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, not only did he pin one of them, he stacked them like on top of each other and then pinned them both. Dominant.
That was one of my ones. I got that one right.
You actually were the only one that picked Randy Orton, and Randy Orton won.
See? That should count for two.
Just your sleeper picks. Your sleeper picks really cashed in.
Yeah.
But overall it was a good WrestleMania. I mean, circumstances outside, first time having fans back. I wouldn't call it one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time, but for historical sense and an emotional sense, it was definitely good to see fans and see the wrestlers reacting to having actual people in the stands. I thought it was a good time.
One thing I was kind of like looking at the card, we didn't really touch on this enough, I think, last week, but this, like you said, it's the first wrestling event with fans in over a year. And I mean, WrestleMania last year they had, but it wasn't the same with no one there.
Oh, dude, it was brutal with no one there.
Yeah, it was kind of awkward, but I'm surprised they didn't have more class. I mean, part of it's probably because they're just getting old, but some of the more classic, more, I guess, higher profile wrestlers for wrestling the first one back.
That's a big point of contention right now. In terms of WWE, I know we don't want to get too much into it, but just to kind of give you kind of answer your question. So right now they're really legend light, whereas maybe last year and 2 years ago they were kind of leaning on the legends a lot to kind of pop ratings and get people back interested in wrestling. And it works. I mean, you can Hulk Hogan, you walk Hulk Hogan out there, people will respond. They did it with Goldberg. They brought back Goldberg, Bret Hart. They bring back all the legends from time to time. But there's a good portion of the audience, man, that for every legend you bring back, that's another young guy that wants to work his way into being a star. You're taking time away from them. So there is a good amount of the audience that doesn't like the legends because you're taking time away from a full-time wrestler and you're letting this part-time legend come back. So, I mean, it's ebbs and flows. There's, negatives and positives. If you have the legend, it's a more well-known name. You may get more viewers, but at the same time, you're kind of killing the present in the future because if Goldberg goes out there and he's taking spot after spot after spot, then guys like Roman Reigns, I mean, he's made now, but back in the day, like Roman Reigns, he's not going to be able to get on TV because you have old guys running around. So,
but can't they? I don't understand why they can't have a one match that's a Legends match that people will come to watch, or even legend versus young guy. They could have,
it depends on who it is, but I mean, it also depends on their age. I mean, you can't really. Hulk Hogan literally can't wrestle anymore.
No, I'm not saying that
Stone Cold can't really wrestle.
What about Cena, The Rock?
Cena's out in Hollywood, dude. That's the thing with Cena and The Rock is they're all Hollywood guys now, so they literally can't wrestle because the movie companies have insurance on them, and if they get hurt, they're fucked.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just a case of either everyone's too old or they have other obligations and they just can't do it.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, definitely good to see fans back in the stands for WrestleMania. WrestleMania is such a great event. So great to see them back. I just wish that, like you said, night two, and that's what I was saying. All the buildup was for night one. Everyone was excited to see everyone come back, blah, blah, blah. But night two, which was a little bit flat, if you put a Legends match in there, that boosts, like, that keeps the
Right.
energy going. You know what I mean?
And they're going to go back to one night next year. So I don't know. I think it was more of
good.
I think it was more of a COVID thing to do the 2 nights, but they're going to go back to one night next year, and we'll see how the card stacks up. So we'll see how it goes. They have a whole year to figure it out. So
I think with one night, I think it would have been different. I don't think you would have had to have that. I don't think you.
When it's one night, which they've done for every year except the last 2 years. When it's one night, that's when you just fucking stack it from bottom to top, and you just let it run, baby.
Yeah, I think it would have been much better. But I understand COVID has its.
Yeah.
You have to do what you got to do. But great to have it back. Great to have wrestling fans back in the stands. And until next year, hopefully I can bounce back. John, very disappointed with John's card.
You have 1 year to do some research.
Yeah, that's true. Moving on to real quick, because we spent a lot of time over the last month doing this. Bracket Madness is over. This was last week, actually.
Yeah, I had to take a second look and be like, wait, was it not over and then the game was actually just going on?
Because the game decided to have it at like 12 o'clock at night. We didn't get to talk about it, and we're not going to talk about it much because it's kind of old news, but Baylor wins it all. They took down what was thought to be the wagon of Gonzaga. But Baylor just was on another planet, dude. They were in control from the beginning. They were the better team by far. And they like I said, they're a wagon. They're like, I picked them in one of my bracket pools against Mrs. Big Red. And I wish I picked them in another bracket pool. I would have won some money. But yeah, unbelievable. But with that said, I'm still taking Suggs #1 in the draft. If I've learned anything, I'm taking Mr. Suggs.
No, there's no shame in losing in the Natty, so that's all right.
I mean, he would have just cemented it even more, going undefeated and being like the best player in that team. And I mean, we've already broken down like a lot from last week, so I really, we had to touch on it, but we're not going to talk too much about it. But Suggs definitely 100%. I would take him first pick overall in this next NBA draft. Where that will be, I don't know. But yeah, unbelievable. A great March Madness.
Great tournament, dude. Great tournament.
It's kind of like you said with the we're talking about WrestleMania, but great to have fans back in the stands.
Yeah,
great to have March Madness, period. Mm-hmm. I think that's what it was like. Last year we didn't get to have March Madness. This year we get it back. It was highly anticipated. I did a ton of brackets. And they had so many great upsets. They had so many great games. We talked about it, the UCLA game, and
it was chaos, dude. And that's what I was hoping for going in. It was a complete chaos tournament, and that's what I wanted, and that's what we got.
Yeah, it was excellent. New blood wins, and it just unbelievable March Madness. So I'm excited to see what happens next year. I'm excited to see which of these studs that perform well in the tournament gets drafted and where they go. So we'll talk about that going forward in the coming months whenever the NBA draft comes up. But great tournament. Like I said, we won't talk much more about it, but great tournament and excited for next year when it comes up for March Madness. Moving on to a team that we all love and hate, and sometimes all at the same team, the Boston Celtics. I added we're updating it. 7-3 since the trade deadline. 7-2 with Time Lord as a starter. And in one of those games, he only played 14 minutes. One of the losses he started, he only played 14 minutes. That was the 76ers game this past week. I'll tell you, my confidence in the Celtics is like a roller coaster, dude. It goes up and down, up and down. Sometimes it's at the same time. Sometimes the ride is just shut off when I'm upside down and like stuck like up, kind of going down. I'm just stuck in the roller coaster waiting for someone to fix it. Hoping my harness doesn't give out.
Oh my God.
It's like literally I go back and forth on this team every single day. I'm trying to keep the faith. They're, the last week they played really well, even without Evan in the lineup. But something's crazy. They're finding ways to win games. They're actually coming back in games.
I was just about to mention that, man. They're starting to win games they'd normally choke away, and that's a big differentiator in trying to make this and trying to get out of this play-in tournament. They need to get out of that.
Yeah, I mean they are in. Yeah, they got to get out of the play. They got to win a few more games. They're over 500, which is, I can't believe I'm saying is a win. But they need to find a way to kind of creep up. My goal, I think, if I'm the Celtics, hit that 4 seed. Like that should be your goal, to hit the 4 seed, because you're not coming in first, you're not coming in second. There's no way. Even third's a stretch. Like that. Like it's very, unless the Bucks have a little bit of a collapse. But you need to try to hit that 4 seed. The Atlanta Hawks should not be the 4th seed in the East.
Only a game back. So I mean, the difference between what is it, 4 and the difference between 4 and 9 is 3 games. So it's going to be a sprint to the finish, man, and we got to start running.
Yeah, and I mean, like we said, it starts, the way you start doing that is winning these games, these close games that we were losing in that tough stretch. Good to have Thompson back too. I think an underrated player for this team, and an important player going down the stretch for this team is Tristan Thompson. He's got to give you big minutes off the bench. He's got to play rebound. He's got to play good defense, especially when you start getting into, games in the Eastern Conference. I mean, I'm looking at the 76ers. You need someone that's going to bang with Joel Embiid, and even Tobias Harris for that matter. You have Giannis and the Bucks, pretty big. You got John Collins, Clint Capella with the Hawks, like Abayu. Is like they got some big boys in the paint in these teams that you got to start passing, and we need some guys to bang with them. So Tristan Thompson's a great veteran guy too. He's won it before. I think there's something to be said for having someone that's won a championship in that locker room. And he's, I mean, people give him a hard time. Look, he's not averaging 10 rebounds like we all hoped he would, but I liked what I saw when I saw him play, and I like live, and he does little things that you need in your second unit: rebound, play defense, and just, bang bodies down low. I think that's an important key that he provides to the team.
I mean, I think what's big for us and what's going to be the most important is, at least going down the stretch, is staying healthy, keeping these guys on the bench and on the court. And 3-game win streak right now, like you said, 7-3 in the last 10, 3-game win streak. This is where we got to start making our move, man. This is when we got to start making our move. We got about a little over a month left of basketball. Now's the time, man. We got to keep this pace. I'm not saying we have to win every single game, but you got to get it. You got to be winning more than 5. You got to be winning more than 500 from here on out.
You definitely got to win. Like we said, you got to win more than you lose. They can't even do that. They got to win way more than they lose. So
it doesn't need to be at a I don't need, like I said, they don't need to go undefeated. I just need them to go at a good pace, and we need to get that. We need to get it out of the play-in tournament. Like you said, shoot for that 4 seed. It's within striking distance. We can do it.
They got a tough schedule, though, man. Like, I'm looking at it.
You got to win it. I don't care how hard the schedule is, because the playoffs are going to be just as hard. So either win the games now or you won't play them later.
Yeah. We got the Trailblazers tomorrow. They've been
struggling.
Yeah, they've been struggling. But then you go Lakers.
We're struggling.
They're struggling, but depending on, it's always a question mark when LeBron and AD are coming back. So, it depends on that. The Warriors. Bulls, which they're kind of hot, but you got to beat the Bulls. The Suns, which we've talked about,
be a tough game.
Nets. The big ones are you play a pair of games with the Hornets. That's a bit. They're right.
OKC,
I think they're tied
you should win that. Spurs, you should win that. Magic, win that. Chicago, win that. 2 against Miami.
You got to win the Heat. Big Red's going the second Miami game there.
There we go. 11th. In the building, baby.
I want to know this season.
And then Cleveland, Minnesota, and New York, you should be winning out.
Yeah. So the big games I see is the Hornets and the Heat. You got to win those. Those are big games because they're ahead of you in the division right now. Those are huge. You got to win. You got to win those games. Speaking of which, Big Red made his return to the Garden. Thank you for all that kept up to date.
Yeah,
on
give
Twitter.
us an update, dude. What did you think?
Let me tell you something.
How'd it feel?
It felt immaculate to be walking in the front door of the Garden. It felt weird. I was telling, I went with Mama Red, and she said it was me and her on the escalator, and us two were 2 of 6 people on the escalator going into the Garden after we gave our checking in tickets. It was weird. There was no lines at anything. We were in a row. We were sitting in the loge section. There was probably like 10 seats or 9 seats in our row. We were the only 2 people in our row. Everyone, like in the loge at least, it was like pretty much spread out with those small rows. It was like you were only people in that section.
Mm-hmm.
So it was definitely weird to have not a lot of people there, but it still felt great. It felt good to be back. It felt good to be spending $50 on some chicken tenders and fries.
Jeez.
It felt great to see the boys play. In the live atmosphere, like it's the first time I've been in a professional sports venue in well over a year, which is, like a lot of people. I'm very lucky that I had the privilege to go. I'm excited. I was excited to go, and I'm excited to go back in May. Mrs. Big Red got me Red Sox tickets for the birthday for Sunday, so we're going Sunday.
Look at that, doing a tour. All right.
Still have never been to a Bruins game. My guilty secret. Yeah, I haven't. So hopefully we'll change that sometime. But yeah, Celtics. It was great. The game. People are saying it's a great game. They fought.
Let's hear it. Give it to them.
But it was the biggest hair pullout game I've ever had in my life. That was a 2K score. That was it was literally ridiculous, the amount of defense that was played, or lack thereof of defense that was played in that game. 145 to 136. Danny Football, I think I could play better defense out there.
I was just about to say, was no one slapping the court out there?
No one was slapping. Everyone was doing this. They were doing Olay. They had a bunch of
Olay.
They were doing the Olay defense. Go ahead and get a dunk. Go ahead and get a layup. It was
All-Star game defense.
It was an all-star game. It was brutal. I think there's more defense in the all-star game. It was absolutely brutal. With that said, the Celtics pulled it out. There's a lot of things that made me say, man, that's like a good win for them. There's a lot of things that made me say that was that was terrible. One of which that said me terrible, they blew an 11-point lead in 2 minutes. That was pretty bad. I was sitting there with 5 minutes to go. It was like a little before 9. I'm like, man, I'm going to get out of here at 10.
Vintage Celtics, baby.
We're going to get a W. We're going to head home a little early. But no, they blew one bucket at a time, and all of a sudden they're tied. It's a tie ball game, or they're winning. It's it was ridiculous. And I'm happy Jason Tatum scored his 50 points or whatever, but at one point he was searching for it. He was hunting for it, which I hope he goes and get buckets, but I want to win a game. You know what I mean? Big Red's got a bedtime.
I want to go home.
I want to win a game. I want to go home with a winner. I don't want to go home saying Jason Tatum scored 50 points. Remember a couple of years ago when Devin Booker scored 70 and they lost?
Was it 70 or 60?
60, 67, whatever it was, 60. He scored that crazy amount of points and they lost and they were all celebrating. It's I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that team where we're celebrating someone scoring 50 points.
It was 70. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was 70. Scored 70 points and lost.
I thought it was 60. Holy shit.
I thought it was 70. I don't want to be that team that celebrates a 50-point win and 50-point points and lose. I want to win the game. So the other thing that was kind of concerning was I tweeted it out too. We hit so who hit it? Someone hit a big 3. It might have been Smart. Marcus Smart had some big plays in that game. Smart either hit a corner 3 or something. Something happened. I forget who hit the shot, but it was a big play to put him up by put him up by a certain amount. I forget what it was. Deep in or late in the game, and everyone walked over like we lost the game. It's there was no celebration. There was no screaming. I want some guys yelling. I want some guys dancing. I want Kemba doing. No, they called a timeout after a big play, and everyone looked like they lost walking to the bench. They were moping.
Oh.
Like, look excited. You just hit a big shot. I get you don't want to be like dancing before you win, but I want some excitement. I want some energy on this team. Like, it's like we're going to a funeral every time we're playing this game. Like, I don't understand it. Like, have some excitement for the game.
Should have gotten behind that bench, man. It looks like you need to let him know.
Oh man, it was brutal. This Anthony, the first time me ever watching Anthony Edwards play, this kid is special. First pick in the draft. There's a reason I thought he was I thought he was the best player in the draft. Or second, it was close. I think LaMelo, I said, was the best player in the draft, but I thought he was going second. Anthony Edwards is a walking bucket, man. Like he was able to score pretty much at will. He had 24 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, but like I think he kind of slowed down towards the end, but then they started looking Cat's way a little more. He was nasty. I love what I saw from Anthony Edwards. Cat, nasty. D'Angelo Russell, off the bench, scored 26 points, which I don't understand why he's coming off the bench, but teach his own, I guess.
Timberwolves, man, that's just, that's how they roll. Loser franchise, loser moves.
Yeah, whatever. Well, teach his own.
I'll take Kemba got it. They want to give him away, I'll take him.
That's what I thought. I was thinking like maybe they're ready to rebuild. I would take them
for the 15th time in 15 years.
Yeah, they always need a rebuild. Kemba kind of got it going late. He wasn't looking for a shot, which I was kind of disappointed. I was screaming, shoot the ball, but he got it going late. Marcus Smart, I thought, played excellent. Jason Tatum, obviously, a nice double-double. I was laughing, like, we made a big deal out of Jaylen Brown being the first Celtic in a while to score 30 and 10. So Jason Tatum goes out and scores 53 and 10. And then Jaylen was great as always, too. But there is some definite things that are concerning, but, I mean, they found a way to win. It's a good.
It's all that matters, man. There was a time where that would have turned into a 10-point loss. So I'll take the grit. I'll take the grit.
Right. And I mean, did you watch that game? It was a very interesting game. Like there was.
I mean, it was just, to me, it was a typical Celtics game. I mean, they're gonna blow leads. I was just more happy that they just didn't roll over and die. They kind of just, I mean, you don't want to see them choke it away. You want to be able to finish that game, but at least they didn't lose. That's all that mattered to me, because I can't tell you how many times it's been double-digit lead, blow it, lose by 10, 12, 15. So I was glad to see some fight.
Also, Danny, football. I've seen a lot of basketball games in my day. I've played a lot of basketball games. I've coached basketball games. That has to be in my whole basketball experience, watching, playing, or coaching, the worst officiated game I have ever seen in my life. Really? Worst officiated game. The beginning of the game, I'm a fair guy, Danny Football. You know me. I'm a very fair guy. First 3 tries on our on Minnesota's offensive sets, they got hacked. It was like it wasn't even close. They got hacked, and there was no call, and their bench was erupting. I was like, I'd be mad too. They're getting demolished, and then they go down the other end like a couple minutes later, and we get hacked. And it's like, or we get touch fouls. It was one of the worst. I thought Danny Football. I thought Danny was sitting courtside. I thought Danny was ready to punt the ball across the stadium. He left in the at the end of the fourth quarter. He was so ticked off. It was like it was one of the worst officiating. It was so horrible. Like I mean, Celtics
go get those zebras, man. Go get those zebras.
It was awful.
If the zebras are fucking up, dude, let them have it. Hold them accountable.
Like, believe me, I know officiating is one of the worst jobs you can ever have. Someone asked me if I wanted to officiate to make extra money in college. I said absolutely not.
You're in the foxhole. I know. You're in the foxhole.
I officiated a scrimmage, Danny Football, because I was the freshman coach. I'm a freshman coach now, but I was an assistant, and they had to pay your dues. So at scrimmages, I would be a official, and I'll tell you, it's one of the, even in a scrimmage for a low division high school, the kids are getting on you. And it's like, dude,
Kids are getting on you.
I did one game. I said I will never give an official a hard time again, but I'm breaking my vow. This was one of the worst games. I'd broken it a long time ago.
I was gonna say, but you've given me some stories about you giving the zebras some shit.
Yeah, I try not to, but it's just I will never officiate ever again. Like I'll never do that. No matter how tight money is, I will never officiate a game.
Oh my God.
But it's the worst job ever. That's probably not true, but it's definitely not a fun job. So, but still, have some feel for the game, man. Like those three were terrible. It was the worst officiating game I've ever seen in my life.
I'm with you, dude. Fuck the refs.
Yep. So, I mean, we do this every week now. How are you feeling going forward about the Celtics team? Do you think they're going to be a playoff team? Obviously, I think they're going to be a playoff team, but do you think they can compete in the playoffs? Do you think they're going to get that 4 seed?
I'm more confident, and I do think they'll be able to get out of the play-in tournament at least. I don't know if they can. I mean, they can reach the 4. Will they? I don't know. We'll have to see how the season progresses, but I feel better about them now than I did before the trade deadline, by far. I think this team is at least ready to win games as opposed to before the trade deadline where they were just giving games away.
Yeah. And the funny thing is about the trade deadline, a lot of people may say like, oh, you guys said that they didn't really get better with the trade deadline. If you look at if you look at a lot of their games, they're not playing the guys they traded for. Evan Fournier is hurt. Not hurt, but he has COVID. He's in the COVID protocol, and they're not playing. They played Cornet for a couple games, and they played Mo for a couple games.
The difference has been Rob, dude. Rob's the key, bro.
The difference was addition by subtraction. And as much as I love Tice, they gave Robert Williams the keys to play that center position, and that has helped us. That has been a significant.
Rob, Jalen, and Jason Tatum will lead us to the promised land, man. I promise you that.
So, I think it's time we move on to our next segment of the night, picks of the week.
Picks of the week.
All right, so picks of the week, we're moving back to our NBA picks. Right now, I'm a game out of Danny football. I'm trying to get back to 500. It was a long road. I had a really tough start to the year.
No, it's because we started picking college games.
Football,
that's how you worked your way back in.
Wednesday's picks of the week.
Nuggets over Heat. I'm going to go Nuggets over Heat. You've had your fun. You got to pick some college games to get back in this, but we're back to professionals now. So I'm ready to take back the lead.
Who do you got? Who's your pick of the week?
I'm going Nuggets over Heat.
Any reasoning?
I mean, we just beat them, so maybe it's just they're fresh in my mind. But I do want to see the Heat lose. So let's get some L's on the Heat's record now.
So for my pick, I'm going with an unlikely of one. I'm going Knicks over Pelicans.
Boo, dude. We need them to start losing too.
I understand, but let me tell you something.
I understand.
The Knicks are hot. I repeat, the Knicks are hot. They're currently beating the Lakers right now in the third quarter.
See, we can do that too.
They beat a tough Raptors team. They beat the Grizzlies. They lost to the Celtics. Celtics got a good win on that one. That was a good win for us. But they beat the Celtics they lost to the Celtics by 2. Lost to the Nets by 2, or I think are, obviously a favorite to win it all. And they won the game before that against the Pistons. So, you know what? They're 3, maybe even 4-2 right now. And the other 2 losses were against very good teams by only a short margin. The Knicks are hot. They got a nice young team there.
Can't wait till they blow it up to bring in some washed veteran.
I can't wait till they blow it and they just screw up all the momentum they have for that. But that's a sneaky good team they got there. That's a sneaky Nerlens Noel, which is an underrated center. Julius Randle, who's a very underrated player.
Dude, he was a forgotten man. I mean, damn.
RJ Barrett, who's having a tough night tonight, but RJ Barrett's a great young player. Reggie Bullock is good. Alfred Payton, Derrick Rose. Taj, it's like they got a perfect combination of young and old players. I don't think Kevin Knox is playing right now. Mitchell Robinson, I don't think he's playing, but Obi Toppin, he's not really doing much.
I'm not gonna praise the Knicks. I won't.
Yeah. I just think that the Knicks are hot right now. 500. I mean, we thought this team would be a dumpster fire, and it's the Pelicans. The Pelicans have steered me wrong in the past, so I'm starting to bet against them. Moving on, we're going to shift gears to some baseball right now. Speaking of a hot team, no, they're not hot anymore. We're going to talk about some Red Sox. I don't think the Sox are hot, Danny Football. I don't think the Sox are hot. I just think they are nasty. I don't think there's
I see what you're saying.
I don't think it's like, a hot, like the Knicks are hot right now. They're playing very well, but at some time they're going to, what happens when something gets hot, Danny Football? Eventually.
Cools off.
It cools off.
It's cold.
I don't think that the Red Sox are going to cool off too much. This team is a wagon.
Legit.
It's a legit team. Because I have a lot of faith in this team. Like, I really think this team is going to be very good and towards the top of the standings for most of probably all season. First of all, when we're looking at it, we knew this going in. The bats are on fire. It's very fuego in this
fuego, mucho fuego
in this Red Sox lineup. JD Martinez, he's pretty good, huh? He's pretty good at baseball.
His name is going to come up a little later.
Devers, we said he always has a cold start. We thought it would go a little longer.
All these people panicked, dude. All these people panicked about those first 3 games against Baltimore, and here we are. We sweep the defending AL champions. And now we avenge all 3 of our losses to the Orioles. I want to hear those people that were pushing the panic button after that first series.
It's like we said, it's a long season. I wasn't too nervous about 3 games. I was a little nervous about the starting pitching, but looking back on the pitching in general, but looking back on it,
yeah, dude, you listened to that episode. I told you, Eovaldi and Tanner Houck didn't have that bad outings.
No, I told you. I agree with you on that one. I agreed with you on.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I'm like people who are like, "Oh, the staff sucks." I'm like, "Are we sure about that?"
I would say the staff isn't great, but it has depth.
And we're about to get Chris Sale back, dude. Chris Sale still to be added.
I think they'll hold off until June. I think you're going to wait I think you're going to see him off for another month and a half, 2 months. But still, yeah, you still have yet to have Chris Sale. You got Erod back. Tanner went back down. But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of depth here. Like, let's say, we stick with it and they say, Eovaldi gets hurt or something, God forbid. But Eovaldi gets hurt or...
I mean, at this point, it's almost scheduled.
Or Garrett Richards just doesn't figure it out. He had a good outing, his second outing. Gave up 3 hits. It's too bad. The bad part about it was 2 of those hits were home runs. But if he could keep the ball in the yard, 3 hits is a pretty good day.
True, very true.
He settled in the 2 home runs were in the first inning, so he settled down pretty well in the rest of that game. But I have faith. Like, what happens if Eovaldi gets hurt? You bring up Tanner Houck. What happens if Richards stinks? You bring up Tanner Houck. What happens? And then you got Chris Sale back. Like, there's a lot of depth at the starting lineup, starting rotation, that I actually got to give Bloom credit for, man. He brought in a bunch of guys that have done it before, and, he can plug and chug in there.
I know it's too early, but almost kind of 2013 vibes where it was just the right amount of parts, man.
That's what I was feeling.
Just the right amount of parts.
That's exactly the feeling I was getting was a 2013 vibe.
It was just the right, nothing flashy, nothing crazy, no big names, but you bring in some guys that are hungry, you bring in some vets that are hungry, and it just fucking meshes, man. It just meshes.
Yeah, it's. I have a good feeling.
Undefeated since Jared came on the podcast, by the way.
Jared, you're the secret ingredient, man.
You turn the season around.
And, I mean, you can look down the lineup, man. And all the people that's wanting Christian Vasquez traded. I hope this man goes nowhere. Christian Vasquez is there's a reason why so many teams wanted him. He's
hottest catcher in baseball right now, man.
He is a stud. And you can go up and down the line. The lineup's really good. The
Bobby Delback's really the only one struggling.
Yeah, Bobby's struggling.
He'll figure it out, though. That's all right.
I have faith. It's okay. I like that guy Marwin Gonzalez. He's a nice utility guy. He's playing all around the infield. So the Sox are hot, man. I mean, no, sorry. The Sox are hot.
This team's good, man. This team is good.
And you know what? I'm ready to lock it in, Danny Football.
Oh.
I'm ready to lock it in. Lock it in right now.
Say it.
This team is World Series bound.
There we
Lock
go.
it in. Lock it in. Lock it in. I have no faith in the Yankees and their normal choke
Dude,
artist
they
team.
suck. They're
They
bad.
are terrible. I have no faith in the Rays. I mean, we just
fucking took their lunch money, man. God damn.
We took their lunch money and we didn't even leave any for a snack. That's what we just did. We
already whooped on the Orioles. We already told the Orioles not once but twice. Here we go. Rays took their shit. Yankees suck, and then the Blue Jays are about to get these hands too. So,
man, I lock it in. I'd love to see a little Dodgers Red Sox World Series matchup.
I'm ready, dude. I was getting frustrated with how many people were giving up on this team after those first 3 games. I don't know, dude. I feel vindicated seeing the 6-game win streak. My coworker, I was watching opening day at my desk. My coworker, after they lost the game, said, "Is it too early to hate this team?" Fuck you, dude. This team's a fucking wagon, dude. We're gonna win.
We're winning it all.
Taking the whole thing.
Like, I think it's just the opposite right now. This team is fun to watch. Like, it's actually fun to watch this team play together.
These are fun games.
We got guys being pushed in laundry carts. We got guys,
tunnel time.
around.
We got double-digit hits. We got homers. We got everything.
We got 3 home runs in a game. We're scoring football numbers. Like, it's a fun game to watch. They're fun to watch.
I get if you're a little upset about last year, but I mean it's a COVID season. You know, what did you expect? And
Boston sports last year punted, except for the Celtics who just choked. Celtics and the Bruins that got screwed. The Bruins got screwed out. They were the most screwed team out of the whole COVID situation.
You got to reset, man. You got to reset.
But Red Sox and Patriots took it in stride, man. They said, "All right, look, we're gonna take this year as take it off. Let's recharge and try to get ready, get the cap ready, get our numbers ready, try to sign some good depth guys." And hey, listen, they're. I think both teams are going to see an increase. I mean, we're already seeing the increase with the Sox. I think we're going to see it with the Patriots this upcoming season.
We got a lot of winnable series coming up. This Twins one, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with this Twins one.
I heard they're going to move it to try to move it to Boston.
I know this comes out on Wednesday, so hopefully we're more clear on that. Chicago, White Sox, we can win that series. Blue Jays, that's a 2-game series. It'll be nice to kind of see what they have. Mariners after that, they suck. Mets after that, they suck. Rangers after that, they suck. Dude, we might not lose a game until fucking June at this point.
Yeah, Mets are bad. Tigers, we go to the Orioles.
Oh, Tigers. Orioles, we own them now.
Athletics, Angels, Blue Jays. We may never lose a game again.
We may go 100 and what do we need to go now? 100. How many we lost? 3?
I'm not good at numbers.
159 and 3, right? It's 160.
I'm not a numbers guy, Danny Football. I can't do math. Can't do math, Danny Football. The point is, I think they may never lose again. We're gonna win the rest of the games. No, that's not true. We're gonna drop a couple games here and there, but this team is a wagon.
Only on the rest days. We're only gonna lose the rest days.
Yeah. I mean, the Indians, they have a decent start. The Astros are off to their normal start. The Angels are actually off to a pretty good start for them, considering. But looking at, the Royals, second place with our man, Benny Biceps.
Dude, he sucks. He's having a horrible start.
Yeah, all these people that are trying to spin zone the JBJ.
Him and Jackie, dude. Him and Jackie are having bad starts. I'm not saying I'm not going to say it's going to keep going, but shit.
JBJ is 2 for 28 with 1 home run. He just made his first web gem, and they're trying to spin zone it until the Red Sox made a mistake.
Zone it.
It's I love JBJ. Don't get me wrong, but there's a reason why he wasn't an opening day starter in that outfield. There's a reason. But the Sox are a wag. The Sox are hot. I repeat. No, I keep saying that. I kept saying it earlier. Sox are hot. They're just a wagon. World Series bound, baby. Get ready for another ring. I know you don't want to see it. And what did I tell you, Danny Football? What did I tell you? The Red Sox win when I leave or graduate of school. So get ready. I'm graduating my master's this year. They're ready to win. Put
Gas
your
up the
money
duck
down
boats,
now.
baby. Gas up the duck boats. Let's go.
Put your money down now. The Red Sox and I just had that connection. What can I say? I'm telling you, dude.
You just
put
gotta
the
keep
money down.
enrolling and drop. You just got to keep it enrolling and graduating, dude.
I know. That's like my fear. Like I feel like I got to keep going to school.
You're gonna have to go to nursing school or something after this.
Nursing school? I don't know anything about nursing.
Law school, either something, dude.
Yeah, just totally shift gears. I guess so, man. But put your money down.
I'll just assign you homework or something.
That sounds good. Give me like a graduation year. I've graduated a few times. All right. So for keeping with the Red Sox theme, we usually do this before the season, but they started and we're a little behind. Sue us. We're going to do our MLB Award predictions for this upcoming season. We're going to go through the AL and NL. We'll slowly go through those. We're going to pick MVP, Cy Young, and Rookie of the Year for each respective league. And then we're going to give our World Series matchup. So, Danny Football, let's start with you. The NL MVP, I don't think is going to be too crazy. I haven't really looked at your list. But why don't you give me your MVP pick and why
For the NL?
Yeah. We'll leave off with the AL. Hometown.
So you want the AL MVP?
No, the NL. We'll end with the...
Oh, okay. I'm going with our old friend Mookie Betts, man. I think, as much as it pains me, I think it's his year, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have that feeling too, and that doesn't make me feel too good about it. But
this was going to happen. He was going to win rings. He was going to win MVPs. He's still going to go on to be a great player. He just won't be doing it as a Red Sox, which sucks. But
yeah,
he's still Mookie Betts.
I love Mookie, and it's going to hurt to see him win. I'm kind of leaning on that side, but to be different, I'm going Juan Soto from the Nationals.
All right. I know friend of the pod, Jack Moran, had money on him last year, and then he got COVID and lost 2 weeks of an already shortened season. So
that kind of blew that up. But I mean, he's a great young hitter. He hits the cover off the ball, so I think he's due for one. He's only 22 years old, but I think he can hit, man.
I like that. It's a little outside the box pick.
Yeah, but first thought I had was Mookie. So, but I'm going Juan Soto. Cy Young, I'm gonna go DeGrom.
I was thinking him too, man.
DeGrom is just a stud, man.
The only problem is that his bullpen constantly blows him wins. Yeah,
that's true. His win total is kind of down, but he's won it before. He's finished towards the top in a lot of them. But who is yours?
I'm going Shohei Ohtani. I think he's gonna win the Cy Young despite playing both batting and pitching.
He's in the American League, no?
Whoops. All right, so he's my AL one. I fucked that up.
Oh.
NL. NL. Damn, I don't want to go with DeGrom now that you picked him.
You want I'll let you borrow my sleeper that I think has a chance.
I'll go damn, I don't want to go with I'll go with Kershaw. I don't want to do it.
Oh,
I don't want to do it, but I'll go with
No, don't do that. You know who I think has a real shot to do it though? And this is just being I'm going to be real with you. Most of this reasoning is because it's a bias on MLB The Show, and I always pick him a trade for him in MLB The Show, is Kershaw's teammate, who I think he's even better than Kershaw at this time in Kershaw's career, is Walker Buehler.
That's a good one, too.
Walker Buehler is a stud. And I think this is the year where he kind of puts everything together and becomes the real true ace of that team. Like kind of takes that even more of a step above Kershaw. Kershaw's great, man. He's a Hall of Famer. Don't get me wrong, but I was gonna say my sleeper pick for this. I'm leaning on DeGrom. He's like kind of the it's kind of the bona fide pick, but I'm leaning a little bit on Walker Buehler. He's my sleeper
like that pick. I like that. Who you got for Roy?
I'm not gonna lie. Don't know much about the rookies this year.
I don't. I had to look up the odds list.
I did. I looked up some odds. I'm leaning on Hayes from Brian Hayes from the Pirates.
I went with Ian Anderson from the Braves. I've never heard of him. I've never seen him, but
yeah, I don't know much. I'm not gonna lie, but I saw he was the ninth ranked prospect overall. He's obviously the Pirates' top prospect. He's young. He hits 376. He hits a little bit of home runs. He finished. He seems to be one of the top prospects in that I've saw. And he can hit with power. He gets on base. So not with power, but he can get on base. So I think he's in the conversation. Don't know much about Rookie of the Year. Is so like. It's whoever gets hot and gets hot at the right time. So I'm not sure on that one. But any reasoning on yours?
For Ian Anderson, no. I just looked up the odds for the NL Rookie of the Year. I have no idea who any of these guys are.
One thing that I think we forgot to put in there, which is shame on me. This is my fault. I will take ownership of this one. Is Coach of the Year. This is coming in cold. Like no research probably done on this one, Danny Football. Do you have a Coach of the Year idea?
Do they do one for each league, or is it only?
Yeah, they do one for each league.
Woof. Damn. NL. Fuck. I don't even know many of the managers from the NL. Who's the Padres manager? I don't even know who he is.
That's who I was leading on. Jace Tingler.
Is that who it is? I'll go with that guy then.
Yeah, I was leading on him too. Man. I think this is the year the Padres. They started to put it together last year, and Slam Diego. They just had their first no hitter too. They're like putting it all together. So. I think there's a good chance. I mean, Rojas from the Mets has a chance to do it. I mean, they had a tough start, but they just got Francisco Lindor, so that's going to help their team. But I mean, the Padres are pretty stacked and ready to go, so I'm going to lean towards Tingler. Let's move on to the AL. Let's do a reverse order here. Manager of the Year?
Alex Cora, baby. Easy.
Yeah, I was going to.
Alex Cora.
If he leads this team to a World Series playoff or a strong playoff push, you can't say it's going to kill all these baseball
people. Came in cold, and he's going to do the damn thing again.
He wasn't even on. If you can put money down, I don't think he was on anywhere near any of the odds people. I don't think he was anywhere near that. So, if you can put down money now, I would lean. I mean, he probably won't get it because people are going to be salty about the stupid, all the Astros stuff. But man, I would put money down on him. This team is hot, and it's all. I think a lot of it is to do with him. AL Rookie of the Year. Who do you got?
I got Mercedes out of the White Sox. I actually know him. I've seen a couple of the games, so I can actually speak for this. I think he's going to be a fucking problem this year and for a lot of years to come. This dude seems legit.
I like it. Again, didn't know much about much about it, but I'm gonna go with I can't really mispronounce his name, but Randy Rand. I don't know how to say his name, but he's on the Rays. He played.
He's been good. He's been good.
He played in the postseason last year, so he has experience. Which I don't. I hate that they count those rookies, but you know,
That's the danger of bringing them up, man. That's why they always play games with the minor leaguers.
yeah. So he's had experience up. He played pretty well in the postseason, so I'd give it to him. I think he's going to just continue it this year. What do you got for AL Cy Young?
It was Ohtani.
If you say Garrett, I was going to say, if you say Garrett Cole.
No, fuck Garrett Cole, dude. He sucks. You want to talk about a fucking horrible contract? Let's talk about Garrett Cole's contract, dude. What a waste.
The Yankees are prime for giving a ton of money to players that are just overrated.
Overpay for an overrated pitcher, repeat. Overpay for an overrated pitcher, repeat. Garrett Cole is not winning the Cy Young. I hate to say it. It's going to be Shohei Ohtani or Tyler Glasnow. He looks pretty good. But I'm going to go with one of those guys. I think Ohtani, he's going to have a good year, dude. Both at the plate and pitching.
Sign an overrated pitcher, repeat, sign an overrated.
Hey, dude, I mean,
they don't just stick with bad pitchers, too. They go with bad outfielders as well, obviously. They overpay everyone that they come on their team.
CC Sabathia comes to mind. Randy Johnson. They kicked the tires on Randy Johnson.
CC, though, he had at least some good years with them. It wasn't like he was bad every single year. They got a lot of mileage out of him, too.
Yeah, but they didn't capitalize on him at all. I mean, they got the one ring, but you need to be getting more rings with that kind of pitching staff.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. But
guys like that, they bring in all these different guys, and they never get anything out of them.
Kluber?
Kluber. Jesus Christ.
I'm going to go Bieber.
Ooh, back-to-back. Okay.
He didn't win last. Bieber. Yeah. He's going to continue it. I think he, as a strong pitcher, he's done it once. So he can do it again. He's on a team that, he's the ace. He's going to be able to, I think, where are they? They're, where are they ranked right now?
The Indians?
They're first in their division, so they're going to be top. Their division's kind of weak anyway, so they're going to have a chance to be tops of the division for this year. So I think he has a chance. I think he has a real chance to win it. For all that are saying Garrett Cole's going to win, you are an absolute idiot. I don't see it happening at all.
Absolute buffoons.
Buffoons. And then without further ado, the MVP race. Who do you got?
It's early. I'm rolling JD though. This man he's a man on fire. 3 home runs in a game. He's usually a slow starter. If he's off to this kind of a fast start, I think he's going to maintain. I'm not saying he's going to hit 3 home runs every single game, but I think he has MVP potential, man. I think he heard the noise last season and he's ready to bring those receipts this year.
Without a doubt, man. Like, this guy is playing.
He's playing like he has something to prove.
I think I saw somewhere that in the whole season last year, he had 7 home runs. He's currently he's tied, but he's currently leading, one of 4 guys leading the division with 5 home runs, excuse me. So he's 2 away from his total from last year. He has 16 RBIs, which leads the American League, and he is batting .472, which is 4th in the American League in batting average. He has something. I think you're right. He has something to prove. He's playing out of his mind.
He's
hungry. Of course, I mean, the easy vote to say every year is Mike Trout. Like, he's the best player, but
Mike Trout's another guy I'm not too high on either.
I'm gonna lean. I'm not high on for the MVP, but you got to give him credit. He's like one of the best. I give him credit,
players. But that team's wasting him, man.
Yeah, that's not his fault.
No, but I mean, he's also the one signing these huge ass contracts to stay there.
All I'm saying, if they're gonna give me a ton of money for 15 years and waste that money in 15 years,
then he better not be complaining when he retires and he has no freaking playoff wins.
I don't think he is complaining. No.
Well, I'm saying down the line.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's when you ask to be traded, or you get released.
He's gonna be too old for that shit when he's done with this contract.
He's going to be able to buy a team and just put himself on the roster when he's done.
Yeah,
with
that's how we'll get his rings.
But I gotta lean on JD, man. Like that's like I hate going the same one with you, but just looking at it, I mean, I know we should kind of take this as like looking at it without looking at how we started the year, but man, like you have to like he's on pace to be the win a triple crown. Win it.
And really, the sample size is even smaller because it's only really the last 6 games. But he's on a good. I think this is legit, man. I think the team and him are gonna just fucking take this thing and run.
Well, even looking at it, he was in that first Orioles series. He hit a home run. So when everyone else was struggling, he was one of the people that kind of got off to try to get off to the right start. And like you said, he's a pretty. Usually starts slow, so I don't know, man. I think he's going to be able to do it. So we'll write these down. We'll check back later at the end of the season and see how we're doing. We'll probably a little update mid-season with the way too early awards like normal. But our picks for MLB Award Predictions. Now we're going to get to our final segment of the night. We're going to get to the people's topic. In this break, I'm going to pull up the stuff. It figures, Zach, that this week that the thing doesn't break.
Thing doesn't break? Oh, that the arm didn't break.
No, the arm is breaking, but it didn't make us go to a second.
I think it's because there's only us 2 in it.
Is that what it is?
I think if there's more, I think if it's 4 or above, they limit it.
Well, it has to be 3 too, because we've had to do it with when John joins.
Were you using the student email for that one?
I'm not sure. Let me see if we only got 1.
That's all right. We'll get some mileage out of it.
All right. So, a reminder for people's topic, you can write in every week on our Instagram and Twitter at Big Red Zone. Remember to give us a follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and like this video as well as all our other videos. Subscribe to the Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. This week, we are going with our one and only fan favorite, Joseph_Celia. He writes in and says, who wins at a 3-point contest? Reggie Miller, Steph Curry, Ray Allen.
Oof. Reggie, Steph, Ray Allen. I'm assuming it's going to be just one round, winner take all.
Yeah, I would say so.
I think I'd take Ray. In a 3-point. Yeah, in a 3-point contest, I think I'd take Ray.
See, my thing is in like a clutch playoff performance, I think I'd take Ray. But in a 3-point contest where you just go in between the racks, I think I'd go Steph. Because Steph, not that Steph's not a clutch player. I'm not saying that, but Ray was just so clutch in big, in-game shots. Like, Steph has been proven. Like, you saw him in the last 3-point contest. This competition.
He almost lost to Mike Conley, though.
Mike Conley played out of his mind, though, too. Like, he got hot in that competition, too. But
I think we're both in agreement that Reggie Miller is, Reggie Miller.
Nothing against Reggie, too. Reggie's one of the best shooters of all time, too. But that's definitely a tough call. This thing finally broke. I need to, donate to the cause to get Big Red a new mic stand, because this is absolutely absurd.
Big Red will leave his Venmo in the comments, so
yeah,
send him some cash.
Send him some cash to get a new mic stand for the podcast, because I'm ready to heave this whole arm thing right out the gosh darn window. I've had enough of this thing. But Joseph, so you're going Ray. I'm going to
stick with Ray. I think Ray. I think Ray has I think in a contest Ray could do it. I think he could do it. Maybe it's just because I'm not huge on Steph, but I think Ray could do it.
And just because he's not here and he can't speak for himself, we'll say John says Reggie Miller. So
good pick,
let us know. Yeah, great pick, John. Let us know what you think in the comments in this video or on Instagram or Twitter. But who would you pick? We'll put it out to the fans too. Who would you pick? Reggie Miller, Steph, or Ray Allen? I have a feeling a lot of people are going to say Ray Allen.
I think Steph Curry is a big one too. The kids love Steph.
But the Boston kids love Ray.
That's a good. I don't know.
Oh, that's true. I guess people are still mad at him about him leaving.
The Miami trade, leaving in free agency.
But great question as always, Joseph. Let's hopefully write in next week, everyone. Again, anytime on Instagram and Twitter at Big Red Zone. Excited, Danny Football. Excited for this weekend, man. Get to enter those great green gates of Fenway Park. I can't wait to go see the boys play. You're gonna have
to report back and see. Tell us how it is.
I'll report on the Twitter. Stay tuned on our Twitter. I'll be sure to send some updates and some pictures out on our Twitter and Instagram. But I'm excited, man. That's been way too long. Been way too long. Without further ado, thanks for listening this week. I want my thanks to Danny Football, as always, or should we say Danny Wrestling?
Ooh,
we have to change that name. They have to change the name. I don't know. Ponder it. Think about it.
Think about it. What about the people? If the people.
Yeah, that's true. Let us know in the comments too. What do you want? Do you want him to be Danny Football? Do you want a name change? Legally change his name?
Change his name?
Change his name to Danny Wrestle? I like it better, Danny Wrestle. I think that fits better than Danny Wrestling.
I'm open to anything that the people say.
If you want Danny Football or Danny Wrestle or something else, just make sure we don't call him any mean names, because that's not nice. Or do it anyway. I don't care. Whatever you want to do.
Whatever the people want, I'm up for it. I'm a man.
He's a man of the people.
I'm the people's champ, as The Rock would say.
So, thanks for listening, and have a great week, everyone.